So, hi everybody, welcome back. Thanks for joining me again on this build. Or at least this time it's going to be info from this build. Really, the track hit and then the little retune hit I had after that, man, learned quite a bit from it. Quite a bit, really. I was really expecting the track hit really just to kind of double check everything else. I wasn't expecting the tuning changes, but it's kind of what I wanted to talk about here. The tuning changes weren't really that, it wasn't that I needed to change stuff. It was really the fact that when I was riding around the parking lot at first, warming things up, I was kind of new converter goofing on a new converter, banging on the two-step, riding around the parking lot, really just trying to break in the clutch, you know, dry hopping it a little bit. What I didn't really add into it right off the get-go was the fact that the two-step RPM is still just a little bit too low, and that it was cooler. Everything I've done so far on the dyno, most of the test hits, it's been on warmer days where it's been really almost, you know, in between 60 to 80 degrees. That first hit, it was not warm. It was low 60s, if even that. And it warmed up actually as the night went on. It's kind of, once the sun went down, it warmed up because the wind went away. And it actually was making way more boost because of the cool air. That's what I hadn't really added into the equation. You know, it's with this, you know, there's no computer to figure out my equation. My equation's got to be calculated up here. If I don't put it all, if I don't work it all out and tune it all in, there's no equation. So that's really kind of why I'm even starting to write more stuff down, just because there's a lot. The tuning, you know, riding and running and launching a bike, there's a lot to that too. The tuning is really it needs to be done first. You know, and I can do lots on the dyno, but it's not the drag strip. It's, you know, it's one temperature and the bike's not moving. Drag strip, everything changes as I'm going down the drag strip. And also the other night too, I'm sure as you guys might have seen on the bottom of that's kind of the cool thing about we don't get time slips anymore. We get the readout from the Worldwide Technology app, and it shows the error data on the bottom. I'll show you guys that here. Data. The data is cool because I can have all that per hit. I can write all that down and register it per, or, you know, record it per run. So everything was kind of crappy the other night as far as the air goes, but not crappy in race car terms. Everybody else was ripping, and this thing on that last hit past the end of the track, it was bonkers really, because the air was really good. I just wasn't tuned for it. Once again. Also, hadn't really tested full load in 5th gear yet. Everything I've done on the dyno has either been in 3rd or 4th. And we haven't really done anything in 5th gear. Or even really tested, except for what I tested for you guys here on the lift. Which I kind of want to test some more. Because the new converter goofing and banging the two-step and not warming the engine up really properly as a whole, the top got way warmer than the bottom. Stuff changed in the case somehow, and the clutch kind of quit working on that first hit. It started working again as I went down the track. Once it started to cool down the top end, once we got moving, everything started working again. It's funny how watching the video a couple times, for me, I've watched it, I learned a lot from the data. It's so, what I'm learning: no more new converter goofing. The clutch is broke in. It bangs the two-step. We need to turn it up a little more, because when it launched on that second hit, it bogged just a little bit and then picked up. If we get it to just stay picked up and making boost as it's launching, it's going to be way better, guys. So, two-step, I think, needs to go to 5200, which should make just a little more boost. And now I know, too, I'm going to start counting. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. Up, I'm done. No two-step for more than 3 seconds anymore. Period. No more goofing when I'm warming it up. Maybe a little bit just to show off. It's fun. But let it warm up, ride it around. Come on now, Ben. We've done this before. Use your brain, bro. Yeah. Quit being a goof. Use your brain. And really entertain the crowd and not be a slow bike that should be going to the moon. The other bigger thing, the second hit, it didn't really do a burnout because the tire grabbed in the burnout box and kicked sideways, and I let off it. From now on, really to heat up everything, I'm going to heat up the engine, riding it around. The transmission gets heated up in the burnout box. We're going to light it off in the burnout box and really get the tire smoking to warm everything up. Hopefully that will allow the clutch to open and close while we're on the two-step on the line for no more than 3 seconds. We'll see. And also, down here, if you guys can see, new valve is awesome. That's all good to go. Still working on the brass one. Need to get it fine-tuned to where I want to notch it, where I can just open it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and have it notched, and I'm not guessing where the setting is. This one I have marks, and I need to really look at it close to see where it is. I want to just be able to reach down and hit the next notch and be good to go. But I'll zoom you guys in here in a minute. Down here on my catch tank, essentially, that's, move my notes here. Oh yeah, and on the bottom here, one more thing down here too, I'll show you guys here in a second. The vapor tank pulls vapor from up here on the back. A little bit of vacuum comes from the turbo through this line here. This line comes from up here on the valve cover, comes down to here, comes down to this little tank. And as you guys can see now, I'll zoom in here in a second. It tees off to where my pitot vent comes down. Tech official was like, well, what are these open fittings on the bottom down here? I said, oh, they're all controlled by valves. Everything's closed. He said, oh, okay. I said, that's so I can make it leak when I get back to the pits, and I can control my leakage. And he said, oh, thanks for that. But what I also did, too, where the pitot vent came down, where the filter was just open on the bottom, I went ahead and tied that into the vacuum line coming to the vapor tank down there. So what little bit gets pushed out through the pitot vent valve, pitot pressure, the boost vent, I'll call it. No more pitot, it's boost vent. I'm venting boost off through this valve from the float bowls, not from the charge. It's the float bowl pressure that I'm venting down here. So I'm going to vent off this into that vacuum line. So really, it'll just get sucked back into the turbo and get recycled through the whole system, and it won't ever go anywhere. So nothing really going anywhere on the track. Track officials love that. No funny business to track, otherwise you go. Also, I'm sure, as you guys probably know, most race cars have a burn down can. On the street, you call it a catch can. Or, I have mine separated. A lot of cars, they have one can that catches the vapor and the excess oil that comes off through the blow-off tube. Or, through the vapor tubes. Or through the vacuum system. Goes to a catch tank. But on a race engine that's making really high boost, you need a burn down tank. Because when this thing's sitting at the line making lots of boost, that boost is really just going into the crankcase. What extra boost is in the engine is going into the crankcase, and it needs to go somewhere. Right now it's coming up here to this little vent, and as you can see, there's a little bit of oil there. Let me show you over here. My seat pan, it was covering it all up. there's just a little bit in here. I seen a little mist in here, like, well, what's that? Oh, it's from my from a burn down tube that doesn't have a tank. It put a little mist in here on my seat because I think it was on that last pass, on the end of the pass, it was making a lot of boost. And also probably a little bit from me, new converter goofing, trying to set my clutch in. So that needs to go somewhere for sure. We cannot have that spraying off. It happens. People leak at the track. It's okay. I'm going to try and contain what I can. Let me set this back over here. Oh, yeah. Here, let me get a paper towel. So, this tube here that comes up here comes actually from the back of the oil tank vents into this tube also. So what pressure comes from into there comes into here. These two vents, the oil tank vent and the crankcase vent, comes off the back of the engine, come up to here, come to this tube. This tube is now going to go into a burn down tank. It's going to go right here. It's not here yet. I'm waiting on it to get here. Hopefully it will be here very soon, because that is the next thing, is to put that burn down tank in. And we might go make one more hit, because it's fun. Lots of fun. And one more new thing here. Let me show you guys. Let me zoom you in here a little bit. So, down here you can see this line comes from up here, from the back of this valve. You can see the line right back in there. That comes down to this filter. So this filter catches whatever little bit of fuel, really, a little bit of vapor comes into here. That'll get sucked up into here. That's okay. That's just going in back into the engine through the turbo, so no big deal there. But this line right here, that's the oil line. That's going to get split off. It's going to come, essentially, there's going to be a burn down tank right here in this open. It's really why I left it open right here. I wasn't quite sure how this was going to work out, but it's going to need it. It's going to go right there. So as soon as that gets here, we're going to be good to go. But up here on top, aw, that's Soichiro. He's loving it. Thanks, Soichiro. Thank you so much. So many of his parts on this thing still. Yeah, there's a lot of mine, but there's still a lot of his too. Those carburetors are his from 1975. And up here on top, you guys can both see, I put those two there because they're cool. Black Rifle Coffee Company. I like to drink coffee, and it inspires me to think, because sometimes I'm old and slow. Us old guys, we need a little bit of coffee to wake up in the morning and get the body moving, get the brain thinking. Black Rifle's helping me on this build now. They you'll see a couple stickers because their coffee has inspired some new thinking, because it's good. If you guys haven't tried Black Rifle, I highly recommend it. It's really good stuff. Really good stuff. But all is looking good. And if you guys might notice too, shop is empty because my Fury, somebody else wanted to take it home. It's been for sale for a little bit, and it's gone now. So I get to focus all my efforts right here, which means this thing's gonna get woken up, and we're actually gonna go really fast next time, because I'm done goofing. It's time to go racing. Yeah, let's go. Thanks for watching, guys. Way more to come. We got some warm air coming here soon, and we're gonna be at the racetrack. Thanks for watching. Way more to come. Yeah, let's go.